bad it's noticeable for me, but you know, this is YouTube.
It's starting to twitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. What's happening?
It says that.
Waiting.
Can anybody see us or hear us?
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Maybe we're live. Okay. Just a little bit.
Did anybody hear me say, this is important, can you hear us or see us? Did everybody hear that? Well, okay, they did.
I was going to say,
they did.
Bubba
Okay.
must have.
All right.
Because there's an answer.
Yes, okay. All right. Fantastic.
There was a moment where our YouTube live streaming just
it did a thing.
Essentially froze and was like, we're not going to show you anything. And so we weren't sure what was happening.
Yeah. But here we are. And yeah, welcome to season 5.5.
Oh, goodness. I know. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where we're going today.
Right on.
I mean, like I do, but like I also don't know what's going to happen. It's exciting.
So as a reminder, we have finished with season 5. We're not done with the orthography. In fact, we had a poll for the orthography this last one. We will continue working on it at off times. I've continued working on it, filling out the vowel consonant forms, which are mostly combinatorial. I've hit a sticking point with the forms that have a preceding E. So we'll talk about that at some point, maybe the Patreon live stream, which will be on the 18th. Anyway, but yeah, for this little bit after season 5, for the season 5.5, what we're going to be doing until the end of the calendar year is each week we're going to be revisiting a previous language in order. So this week we're actually going to be working on Engála, next week Tapahla. Not the week after that, which will be Thanksgiving. It's going to be a special live stream. Week after that, we're going to be working on Wokathishu. The week after that, Sarkajay, and the week after that, we're going to be returning to Haughòf briefly. And then after that, it's going to be whatever people vote on, if there's going to be any more streams at that point.
I think because Wokathishu will actually be the Thursday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And like at that point, so that'll be the very last of November. And then we'll come back to cats, dogs, and then we're looking at the Christmas
21st
season.
and the 28th, but those aren't really special days, so we're probably going to do streams on both days.
Streams, but we may do special ones, like...
Well, kind of. It would be the ones that they just vote on.
We'll vote on, but I mean special ones in terms of, did we want to have any more sketches in the world? We haven't done a sketch in a while, David.
That's what the special live streams are for example, Thanksgiving.
Okay. I know. Okay.
I'm just saying.
We'll have to decide what we're going to have a special sketch for.
Yeah. So this week, let's just kind of finish off with what we were doing as quickly as possible. So we had a poll because I created some forms, if you could scroll up a bit.
Oh, yeah, because we had to...
Based on these last two characters.
And I'm going to...
There we go. You could see them, but yeah.
Well, just
All right. So these last two characters were the bird form and the flower form. So they're in the lower left and lower right hand corner. So this is the bird right there, and then that's the flower right there, and you see they have this kind of bowl shape. And anyway, I created it, and I was like, oh, it looked kind of weird. And furthermore, due to the what do you call these? The diacritics that we had, it forced a change in the flower glyph on the bottom, because putting the diacritic above the original flower form would make it far too tall. Anyway, so there was those forms, and then I created a new set, which is down here. And the new set would have used this form that we originally abandoned, this little swoosh, except for one character. We originally abandoned it for rock or cave. I forget which. Because we were like, it didn't look good.
It was originally rock.
Yeah, we were like, it didn't look good the way we originally tried it. But then, like, we ended up revisiting it because we used it again, and we're like, oh, actually, this looks good. And then we're like, hey, why don't we use this for these forms instead of the boat? And it seemed to work out pretty well. Both of these are existing shapes, and they just have the little swooshy beneath them. And so we polled everybody and said, well, which set do you like? There was at least one person who suggested that they wanted one from one set and one from the other. No. Wasn't an option. So it was either the original set or the new set, and everybody voted. Oh, and by the way, this is so you can believe me. Look, the italics, they don't show up. In fact, if you scroll up again.
And yet on... who showed it on theirs, remember?
Oh my gosh, the italics show up there. Gosh, that's so weird. They don't show up for me. Anyway, it's probably a Safari problem. Anyway, the whole point is we had people vote. The vote was somewhat close, but nevertheless, the new set won in all 3 polls. And so the new set is our winner. And I went ahead, kind of anticipating this. I would have had to go back and change it, obviously. But I pushed forward with the new set, and so the font is already there, and we will revisit it again several weeks from now when we do episode 540. But today we are doing episode 132. So switch over to Lexergy and bring up Engála because we're definitely going to need it.
I already did.
Yeah, and. Oh yeah, Jake was. We had this discussion where.
Oh my gosh! Look at those cute little beavers.
It was really bizarre, this discussion, because essentially when you're comparing foods, you should compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. I think would be fair to say. And so there was discussion about tater tots and saying, well, I like latkes better, which to me it's like. I guess if you're looking at dishes that are in that.
It doesn't make hash browns would be a closer.
Yeah.
I mean, not even perfect, but at least closer.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I didn't say latkes. I said latkes, didn't I? I don't know. Anyway, but apparently latkes have this crucial ingredient of onion, and my feeling is that if you're going to be comparing potato dishes, then you should compare them fairly. So it's like French fries and tater tots, sure, because basically the main and really only crucial ingredient is potato.
A fried potato.
Yeah, there's nothing else in there. Once you start saying like, well, it's potato plus this other thing, that's just, there's no point in comparing them. Not because it's inherently going to be superior or inferior, but just because they're different things. I think that, like, with a latke, you can compare that to the Spanish potato pancake, for example, that also has egg as its crucial ingredient, and, things like that. When it comes to, otherwise, then it's like, compare French fries and tater tots, sure. Even crisp-cut fries, seasoned fries, because at least, it's a seasoning, but it's still potato. Anyway, if you start admitting other things, then they're just different. And so it's kind of pointless to say whether you like them better or worse, aside from, I don't know, unless somebody's thinking of ordering one or the other. And it's like, sure. But otherwise, no. That's my thought.
Was this going somewhere?
Yeah, it was. And I think that the important thing to remember is that whether you prefer latkes or tater tots or think that they shouldn't be compared, latkes are for eating, not smoking. Stay safe out there. Yeah.
Fair. Okay. So now that we've got that under control, we are returning to season 1, and how Jake is always right, and in season 1. Gosh, Jake wasn't even there live for season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, season 1 was very different. We did our Engála language for rabbits, and if you are a patron, then you know that we have revisited Engála many times over during the past, well, I guess little over 2 years, because we wrapped up the work on season 1, in 2020, and over the the next couple of years, we have returned to it for, oh goodness, for Luxembourg entries 1 year. We have expanded its vocabulary in streams, in patron streams. But more important, well, not more importantly, also importantly, David has been revisiting the orthography, which he was never happy with from season 1. And a big part of that was he was using a different method, because you were trying the Wacom tablet. You were trying the drawing thing.
I was. There are 2 things to say, and actually, I'm going to add a third thing really quick.
Okay.
If you're a later watcher of LangTime Studio, go back and watch the very, very, very beginning of the first episode, because it was a lot of fun. Because Jessie had absolutely no idea what we were doing at all, aside from like creating a language. That was really all the information I gave Jessie ahead of time.
He's a really great work partner in terms of filling in details.
So it's fun to watch that like first 10 or 15 minutes, because you get to see Jessie's reaction in real time as she discovers what it is we're doing. It's like, what? It was good.
I don't remember it being that, but whatever. I don't know. I'd have to go back.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God, that would be funny. Let's spend our entire episode today rewatching episode 101.
But yeah, so for the Engála font, there were 2 things. One, yes, I was using I was trying to use the Wacom tablet, but 2, that was actually the first time I was using an upgraded version of FontLab Studio, just because like there had been an upgrade, I got it, and I just didn't happen to use it until that moment, and realized it like live on the stream. So if you go to the first orthography episode of Engála, you see me go like, what on earth is this thing doing?
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't.
I do remember this.
And it wasn't behaving the way that I thought it was supposed to behave, and so it was just an entire disaster. So we have been working on a new version.
How do you saying that? When I prompted that maybe you need to do more of an introduction than "Hello, my name is David," you expanded to "Hello, my name is David J. Peterson, and I was born in Long Beach."
There you go. It's longer. It's more informative. So we've been working on a new version, and I love creating orthographies. I love creating writing systems, but I still feel like, because I was just trying to like work my way into it, starting in the year 2000 and figure things out. I was kind of learning orthography design and font design at the same time. They're 2 different things. And so when I finally break down, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I go to 2 people whose work I really respect, Barry Garcia and Carl Book. I came to them and I said, look, this is what I did for the Engála orthography. It didn't work. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Here are some of the pictures that it was based on. Here was my intention. Here is the execution. Can you help? And both Barry and Carl kind of took their own version of it, and then sent me back some drawings. And I've been using those as a guide to create a new version of the Engála font, which we have pulled up. It's not quite done yet. And in particular, we haven't gone and redone the numbers, which is going to take a long time because there are so many. But this is what we've been working on Patreon live streams. So actually, in fact, what we can do, show the Engála document right now, just the first page. Yes. Okay, so this is kind of like what the at the top, that says Engála there. And you can see, I mean, it's really sloppy. And the thing is, like, it made me so frustrated because I couldn't fix it. And I was working with the Wacom tablet. and just
and
things.
we can also just pull these up. You can see.
I just didn't have the level of fine detail that I'm used to, and there were a lot of things that just were not coming out right. This right here was one of the worst characters. The middle one.
Oh, the
middle one in the entire font. Just a disaster. It looks like beginning work. And not only that, for Engála, for those who want to go back, our streams were a lot less ruly in the beginning, and there were like a couple of people who were just complaining. That's the new one. We're just complaining constantly whenever we would do orthography work. Like, this is so boring. Can you hurry up and get to something else? I'm like, we're doing this because we like to. We're not charging you for watching this. If you don't like it, leave. It's very simple. Anyway, and so for that reason, I didn't feel like I had the time to go back and really rework it. Anyway, so.
In other words, as we've gone on to our 5th season, we no longer care, and we just spend as much time on orthography as we want.
Yeah, and basically those who really can't stand it, they've gone by the wayside, and we are so grateful for that.
We appreciate people who stick with us through all of the slow times of conlanging, where sometimes there isn't much to see, but you're still there for the support, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
But this is some really incredible work that David has done. And it's rather exciting to see.
So.
Do you want the mouse on that side for a minute?
Well, what I wanted to do for a nice.
By the way, David had no idea I had a mouse pad that I actually use, yet he uses my computer quite often.
Oh boy, that's really big.
That's going to be huge.
So what I'd like to do is essentially type. Come on, fella.
Really, we can move the mouse.
Just type these as a fair comparison. So just go ahead.
What do I need to type to get that top character? I forget. Is it just the NG?
I think so. But you're going to need to highlight that. Oh, okay. So this is what. First, pull this window out a little bit because the control. No. Okay, there you go. Press that button.
This one over here?
Yes. And then go to Features. And then, there we go. Just hit the play button, just in case. Okay, now you can make that go away. Highlight all that whole thing. And then let's see. Is that the right one? No, it's not, because it has a letter before it. I think it's an A. Oh, we don't have that yet. We must not have done that character yet. Shoot. Never mind.
But can we like?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can just kind of get the flavor of the bird, I think.
I don't really know how we type Engála. I would have to try to remember that. But you can see it's so pretty.
Yeah, just type some stuff, I think, so people can look. The problem is like the characters I wanted to type, we haven't actually created them yet. So,
gosh, David, shouldn't you have started with the way to spell Engála?
Yeah. So like, but yeah, here, just type some stuff and let's see what happens. It'll just kind of flash across the screen really big. Just type anything.
Well, I know we had a.
Yeah. See, it's just that one's might need some work. That one's pretty good.
Oh no, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
How about UN? No, UNG. There we go.
Well, it's not actually what it would be. It's just put in a U followed by an NG. We haven't done it yet. But yeah, no, I don't mean like type stuff that we have. Just like start typing random gibberish.
Well, now it's.
That's fine.
There we go.
There you go. My name is Jessie Peterson. There. So now you can.
Ooh.
Yeah. See.
That was.
Yeah.
My name is Jessie Peterson.
There we go. Anyway, so now you kind of get the idea, I think. That's what the orthography looks like now. We are going to produce two different versions when we're all done with it. One that looks like that and one that has a filter applied to it, so it looks even more brushy. But somebody, I forget who, in one of the live streams, like originally I was just going to do the brushy version, but they requested just this version as well, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
It does make sense, especially since what you're doing is creating this and then applying the distortion, and so it's like, why not produce both?
Yeah, very simple. Okay, so that's what we've been working on in Patreon live streams for those that haven't been watching them over the past, gosh, few months, I think. Of course, we could continue work on the orthography right now, but we thought since we've been doing a lot of Haughòf orthography, we'll just switch to language stuff. So yeah, you can go ahead and totally quit Font Lab.
Should I do anything with this?
No.
Just leave it and let you deal with it later?
Yeah, just quit.
Okay. Here I go. Quit.
There you go. All right. So, oh, you know what
Attendance does count, yes. And you're right, Miles. I do like pronouncing Engála the best, although I like to think I'm okay at Wokuthishu. Not perfect, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, man. If attendance counts towards our final grade, man, Bubba's really skirting the issue, isn't he?
Just it shows up and then leaves. But then shows up again.
We call attendance. It's like, here, teacher. Hey, I got a jet. That old Bubba.
We appreciate Bubba's stick-to-itiveness during all the schedule changes.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of schedule changes, now we should be on time with all of our European friends. I haven't seen Mateus yet, though.
There have been a lot of them saying that they've been mistaking when the stream was, either an hour late or an hour early. Mateus may have forgotten.
But we're back on regular time with them, right?
Well,
because
the thing is, they have clock changing as well. It just happens at a different date.
Right, but it had already happened. And that's why several people, like last week, Jake and Mateus both, like Jake had to be on a bus trying to get home because they had it.
Oh, Jake is doing Read Week right now.
And so anyway, all that is to say, I hope people remember.
By the way.
And we're off regular time with Alice now. Oh my goodness. And yes, I assume all our European watchers are friends.
If you wonder why, by the way, it's a different date, it's actually George W. Bush. That was the thing he did as he was leaving office. It was like one of the very, very last things he did. And it was basically just kind of a whim. He's like, I kind of like DST. Let's make it go longer. That was it. And so, like, he pushed the end point of DST back like a month. And I don't know. People at that point were just fatigued and like, why the hell not?
It was really that late?
Yeah.
Well, because, like, I just remember, like, I thought it happened earlier because I remember
or left behind.
I remember it being wrong when I was, anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, I have Engála pulled up. I do, however, have another document pulled up.
That one is important, I think.
Let me pull this up.
Describe the direction of the next few weeks.
And so, now that I have all the fonts on this computer, it actually shows up correctly.
Woo!
So during our last Patreon live stream, while David was doing font stuff, I took some time to make a more solid vocabulary list that was needed for our game, which is now titled Sovala.
Mm-hmm.
And for Sovala, if you recall, the vocabulary lists we've been working with in terms of game, words, has been very generic. And like, it was essentially a list that David, way back at the beginning of our LangTime adventures, was like, well, these are the kinds of words I envision needing for the game. Some of them, yes, we did need. Others of them we haven't really come across quite yet. And so we wanted to really, really focus our vocab development to make sure that we could provide words specific to what actually shows up in the game and on game cards. Now, some of these are a little bit more specific than we may need, but some of them we're just going to need in general. And so some of the generic vocabulary up at top is like all characters have some method of attack, and most characters have some method of shielding or defending. All characters can move in the game, and so there's, this idea of movement in any direction, really. There are health points, and so health is an important concept. And then some characters have also these sort of like energy reserves, if you will, that they can use. Some characters have a range of how they can do their. Well, I guess everyone does. It's just like some ranges are much better than others, and then some will have magic points. And for this one, well, these words could. So all these words up here, we could actually have a different one for each type of character based on animal. The word that we use for magic is going to be the same in terms of, you know, that skill, and that one David had said will come from the cat language. So we're not.
Can I have a dark marker from over there? I'm gonna draw something while you keep describing, and then
I'll give you this one because my black one has been kind of running out. So I'll give you close to that. Also, every character carries a rank, a star ranking of 1 through 5. We may not actually indicate rank in the language because that one, again, is just all symbolic.
Yeah.
And so we may not actually need words for some of these things. And then once we get into actual character types, these are just the ones that David has fleshed out. There will be more character types. But for instance, bard-related vocabulary, we need words like bard, song, luck, and solo. These relate to their powers and things that they do. David hasn't yet decided if we're going to do things like actually translate the song list into the languages or into a language, like the main kind of bard is going to come from, you know, a particular group or whatever. And so some of these, again, it's more like we may not translate everything in this list, but this is all of the things that show up on the game cards themselves, and that will be, you know, special for the book, our book, for the game. Underneath, I have also marked how many of each character type show up in, for the time being, in the game per animal kingdom. So what you may notice is dog is
bard.
Bard, yeah.
I don't actually know if that helps, Alice, because they're from New Zealand. The singer, not the flying animal, the singer.
And so the list here, you'll see there is a bard in the cat, two for the mice, 1 for the possums, and 1 for the rabbits. You'll notice there's no dog bards as of right now, and there may not ever be. What that means is when we return to Haughòf, we don't need a word for bard or song for the game. We may have one, but that doesn't. We don't need one developed for the game.
There is one in the expansion.
Right.
A low level one.
Gosh, when we.
Yeah.
Yes. So when we get there, but for right now, we don't need to focus, you know, on that. We will, however, for our mice, need to double check that we have these kinds of words covered in the language. We'll also need some archer words, like archer, sniper, and gouge. We've got some of their things. No mice soldiers and no warriors, but there is a single mouse rogue in the game as of right now.
Yeah. By the way, I changed that. There were like a lot of mice rogues, but then we discovered that there was no singer mice. And we're like, oh, that's a shame.
Especially since we essentially spent, I want to say, 2 entire patron live streams coming up with all the instruments that mice would create. And so then suddenly we're like, there's not any bards that are mice in the game. And so David fixed that. And then, of course, the tanks we're definitely going to need tank-related vocabulary. And in fact, most of this vocabulary may end up getting borrowed into other languages. Yeah. Because again, the mice are the mechanical group, you know, of all of them. And so we also need kingdom names. Right now, the only one with a kingdom name is rabbits, so today we're not going to need to worry about that because we've got Tanungweda.
It's a shame. It's really nice having them. And it's like, of course, you know, week 1 is the rabbits, which is the only one we have.
No, well, that's good, though, because now we can, as we move forward, remember that we need kingdom names. And that's actually super important for the game, not just for the game being able to talk about it and describe it, but also for in the spreadsheet. Right now it's all A, B, C, D, and E, except for, well, the C has been replaced by Tongueda, which means as you're looking at the spreadsheet of game rules, it's like, wait, who's A again? And then you got to remember those are the dogs. And it's like, it's a whole thing. Way easier when you have it all done. Okay, yeah. So all that is to say, we've got these lists. This is where we need to be going in vocab, including just checking to see what vocab we already have. Like, I know we have some of this in Engála, but not all of it.
Yeah. Of course, language-related thing is a question we're going to be asking with a lot of this stuff is how much of it is native to each animal language, how much of it is borrowed, and who is it borrowed from. Mm-hmm. And there's like, it's going to be an interesting discussion for each kind of term. I wanted to show you the way that magic works in this game is essentially like this. So here is, magic, and magic is divided essentially into different states of matter, and they go in a cycle. So we have the light and dark, it's like the full presence and then absence, right? But then going from light, it goes from light to plasma to gas to liquid to solid back to dark, and then from dark back to light. So the way that this works is right now each magic user in the game commands 3 of these, and they're always adjacent. So for example, what I have listed here as, yes, I think
gas, liquid, solid.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that gas, liquid, and solid is A. This is one type of magic user. I had called it variously previously a shaman or a druid because these are terms that are used in World of Warcraft as a placeholder. But really what it means is that they can use these spells. And there are a whole bunch of spells. There's like 100 right now in the game that fall into one or multiple of these categories. And so that's effectively what it means. And then so there right now in the original one there's 4 different classes, and you can see that there's logically 6 of them, but we've only done 4 of them for the original, and so I really want to get terms for all of that so that we can replace all the stuff that is just borrowed, because there's a lot, I think, of like associations that come with when you use the particular word for a type of magic user that we've gotten through years and years and years of D&D and also video games that have used those, where really it's like none of that stuff is necessarily relevant. What's relevant is this system. And essentially in the world, when it comes to the magic, and this is going to be relevant for coming up with vocabulary, the cats are the best magic users. They have an intuitive understanding of it and how it works, and are the best at using it. The mice are the ones that came up with this. So they came up with the systematicity of it, analyzing it and studying it, discovering how it works, at least according to their analysis. And so then it's kind of like an open question for the various magic users, both for the mice and the cats, but also the other ones. Whose terminology are they using? Where are they borrowing it from, and why? And it might be different depending on which one it is. Anyway, so that's just some background on that part of it. So anyway, that was it.
Yay!
Yay! All right.
And of course, the mice came up with the organizational system.
Oh yeah.
Love those mice. Okay. So I'm just going to drop that down here to see this. And someone had asked about what instruments we had, and oh my god, we had so much by way of brainstorming up here. Our vocab list in this one was in a different place, and then we realized we needed to not do that ever again. We keep losing it, and apparently there it is. I was like, surely we marked it. Okay. So here is the vocab list that I was starting with.
Incidentally, our Knight Petrichor, the symbols are on the cards. And in fact, that was actually one of the great things about this magic system, because now for the symbols for each of those, it's just that. So like, for example, the that, you know, the druid shamani character, it's like, this is its symbol. Essentially, it's just the hexagon with the colored in portion of the symbols they use. But and I know that, yeah, there's that we want to save space in the cards, but part of the cool thing was that at the top, it's not going to be the generic name for each star class. It's going to be a specific name for that character. And that was just what's going to make it hopefully more fun. Anyway, sorry.
Yes, and of course in the appropriate language.
Yeah.
But this was the original sort of list of vocabulary that has been repeated over seasons. And so our patrons have seen this list many times over because we keep returning to these same vocab words as we expand languages and work on developing them. And so, oh, Miles, I love it. So him. And so we have done this a lot. Well, we had created a potential word here for bard, Sisibe in Engála. And as we were talking about musical instruments, we expanded them. Where did we expand them? Like, we had a whole list.
In here?
That was the mice.
It was the mice, yeah.
Never mind. You had asked about the mice instruments. I momentarily forgot we were in the rabbits. Oh my gosh, David. I should not be in the driver's seat today. In the mice, we had all sorts of fun instruments, and you'll see it in 3 weeks when we get to Engála. Wrong animals.
So
when we get to Wokuthishu,
yeah,
I'm on it. But here we are with this old list.
By the way, I've written it up since we're in the Engála document and not in Jessie's document. Something to keep in mind: we have, for the rabbits, 2 warriors, 1 caster, 2 archers, 1 rogue, 3 druids, and 1 bard. So I want to say that we can check some of these things off. We have our bard name. That's done.
We do. Oh, we just wanted to note that this was an agentive verbal.
Why are there 2 of them that have 2 asterisks?
You know, it was just intransitive versus transitive verb, and so I don't know. See, we should work on making better notes. However, actually, should I save this list and say Engála, and then so that way it.
Can we do it really simply right now on the stream? Because that would be cool.
Yeah. If I go to save, it's going to open up the full file, though, won't it? Because it's going to open up that whole window. Yeah. I guess if it's off screen, though, nobody would see. I don't know. If you're in YouTube, can you see this one?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to move it over even more. And then I'm going to do a file save as, or duplicate.
Yeah, you can just do that and save it later. Because the save as window is going to pop up right here.
Okay. And so I'll just work in the duplicate.
Yeah.
And
you can close that.
I guess I could close it, can't I? Because I won't actually need that anymore.
And on this computer, I think it's better to close.
Are you saying something about my computer?
It's had a time.
All right, this is the Engála.
All right.
And on this computer, hopefully this stays because it's not saved.
Yeah, let's start filling stuff in.
All right, so we have Bard is
Sisibe.
Sisibe.
And then song is Pasibe.
I need it.
Yeah.
Sure. That's interesting. So this one is Sisibe.
Yeah.
Should we check that? Or
No.
Are we happy with that?
No, it's a.
Is that what these notes are about, the imperfective versus perfective?
Yeah.
And so this one's the patientive, and this one is the agentive.
No, it's just a diminutive. Wait. Yeah, it's just a diminutive.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So that's a derivation of sibe, which becomes pasibe, but that's sisibe, which is reduplication.
Okay, you had said...
And nothing happens to S in reduplication?
Now you're going to ask that.
I mean, probably not, but I'll do it. I'll do it.
We have created. Oh, Jonathan, what would you ever expect from us if we didn't bemoan our lack of comments or better notes?
Yeah, nothing happens. Nothing happens to us. I wasn't sure if it became CZ Bay or something like that, but it doesn't.
Okay, so we do have a word for arrow as well as a word for to shoot an arrow.
Cool.
So we could have shooter as archer.
Oh, yeah, because we need 2 archers.
And will both be based on words, or are they going to be like...
Well, everybody, of course, is going to have names, but no, for the class, this is where we have an open question. So, and this is where we can separate things out. All right, so now we can forget about everything else. Let's think about the rabbits and think about archery. So, the rabbits have the most powerful archer in the game, a female rabbit archer. And then they have the 3rd best archer in the game, a male archer. So...
Well, I think the 3rd best should be the potential agentive deverbal of shoot. So in other words, like shooter. And then the best one should be the rabbit's equivalent of bullseye. Like always hits their mark and from a distance, or eagle eye or something, you know, like their equivalent of what would a sharpshooter be called.
Yeah, okay, I get it. All right, that makes sense. Okay, let's start with the easy one then, the shooter or shootist.
And
so we have
I think, yeah, and this was one of our strategies that we had listed. It'd be under the verbs, wouldn't
purple.
It? And so that's the emphatic. So the agentive.
Wait a minute.
That is not the same as what we saw above.
It's for transitive.
Because we were saying that to sing was not necessarily
intransitive.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at sing just to, or no, you don't have to. We don't need to put that on screen. I'll double check. To sing is a verb, and to sing something you have to use a preposition. So yes, sing is intransitive, whereas let's look at to shoot is transitive. Oh. That's weird. We have a secondary meaning. That means to rush or to move with great speed. But then that's an unaccusative. Okay.
Okay.
It's also a secondary meaning. There's nothing that indicates that like it was the original meaning or anything like that. Okay, so that is a transitive verb. So then, yeah, we would need to use this strategy as opposed to the other one like that gave us CCB.
And so I need to plug in, because we've got whatever a consonant after it. It would be the may, right?
Yeah,
just to double check.
And it's a wait.
It's voiceless. Technically, I think it should be mejos, but we're gonna check it, right?
No, this one's a difficult one because it's yeah, you're right. It should be mejos. I'm pretty sure. Let me hold on a sec. I don't necessarily know if that is
Oops.
what we need to be doing, because I want to double check something.
Okay. Oh, we have a better note here. Okay, okay. So this was, yeah, so we do have a better note here for the patientive and agentive noun differences for transitive and intransitive. Yeah, yeah.
Must be used.
And so here, because it is a transitive verb, we do want the agentive form.
I think it's probably the term for rabbit.
It is ime.
Which is, its protoform is mbai, right?
Yes. Yes.
So go ahead and put mbai, yeah, in front of that, just to see what happens. You can copy and paste them. And then schwa I.
Oh, whoops. Whoops, whoop, whoop. Yeah, and it comes out as mejos with the.
And okay, so then, but that's just informative. So the voicing does happen. Let's go take a look at this. And
do we? I swear we had one of these agentives entered into the dictionary.
I don't believe we do, because I just checked. The closest that we have is oh wait, beaver. Uh-oh.
What do we do?
No, that's not. No, that's a compound. That's a compound.
So it's either going to start with an I or an M, right?
Yeah, and so the only thing that we had that was close was the word for who. But that's, I mean, I don't know if we want to say that's derivation exactly.
Okay. So then we're in uncharted territory.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be Megrus.
I mean, that seems, I feel like that would make sense, because we did, for these other derivations, I mean, obviously we were doing final stress stays, and we were doing some, final sound changes.
Yeah, it really feels like we should have, Hungarian has master shooter. Mesterlöves. I'm sorry. Mesterlöves. We should have put a form in here that, showed the sound changes. But whatever, that's fine. All right, so Megrus is it. Let's, I'll go ahead and enter that, and then we'll have an example.
That will be really good. Hey and toe are other forms we can look at while you're doing that. I'm going to just... Wow, you really... It's always hard when you create derivations, but don't actually include a lot of examples in your, in your lexicon.
Yeah.
Hey, that was the other one I was going to look at. But I also don't even know if we would end up having these as sub-entries or as the main entry. Because I thought some of these we actually put as sub-entries. Okay, here's an example, babe. Different derivation, we put them as sub-entries on the main entries. So it's not under toe in the dictionary. It's under the fenebe. But anyway, this is a nominalization strategy, which voices the fricative. And so by expansion, other verbal derivations should voice.
Oh, should voice, yes.
Yeah, because the fenebe becomes tovenebe.
Right.
And so like that supports that, same with coldness. And so we do have those examples, but also that's why we couldn't find them.
Yeah.
They are all under their original. And I don't think David likes that.
No. I think that one should be under that entry, but I think Megrus should be its own thing.
I feel like to sing has all sorts of ones entered under it. And the S is different. It doesn't voice because we actually don't have a Z, I don't think, do we?
That's weird. Pasibe is in there.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That
like
shouldn't be there.
We entered things as if it's like
I don't feel like
a root.
that should be there.
Well, we do have Z's, but S's don't voice. They are, I think, a special thing. Anyway, while you're doing that, I'm gonna put this definition that you're putting in as archer.
That shouldn't be there. Check this out.
Frost, yeah, that. Okay. We may need to clean this dictionary up at some point. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think this is also before we came up with our shorthand for compound versus derivation.
That's true. Yeah, it was. Actually, I think we didn't do that until, I want to say, the mice.
Yeah.
Because at that point, that's when we were like, this is getting out of hand with not being able to find any true compounds. Okay. So, Merus, we're going to define that as archer. Is that correct? As well as,
yes.
Are there going to be any other?
No.
Let me make sure I remember how to spell archer in English so I can alphabetize it. Merus. Okay.
And let me make sure I have the correct plural for that. I believe I do. Oh, we don't have a blue thing. Darn it.
What do we need?
Usually a blue table telling us, like, here's what the plurals are and everything. We don't have that. I think we only list the plurals up here in the grammar, which is not very convenient.
Boy, that's much bigger than I anticipated.
Yeah, that's me. Ooh. Ooh.
Okay. So, David, I put this in with archer. I've got Merus, and then I notated that as our 3-star archer.
Ooh, thank you.
And so that way we remember.
Very helpful.
When we come back to it. And I don't want to use asterisks. I was just going to do like 3 asterisks, but then it's like that actually can mean something, and we don't want to mess that up. Okay. We've got, oh
my gosh, Esperanto versus snipers. Gvatbafisto.
As it should be. Okay, so my eyes weren't up here. Like, I feel like I need to scroll back through because I've been staring at the document instead of chat. So Bubba, I'm also trying to catch up. What did I miss? But Bubba, what we're doing here is working on, really game specific terms that we need. We just came up with a word for archer, which really just means shooter. And now we want to talk about possibilities, or David may be sidetracked on what's happening here.
No, I'm good. I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Possibilities for what we're going to call our 5-star archer, which I had suggested.
The sharpshooter. That's really
sharpshooter. And so really thinking about the equivalent of like how would the rabbits conceptualize this?
I know where we should start.
Ooh.
We should look at the type of compounds we have. So not the meanings, just the types of compounds. And decide, once we see the types of compounds, be like, okay, what evocatively can fit one of these types of compounds the best?
And this, of course, some of this is going to be reduplication. Okay, this one is a compound. This one means sun hop.
Can we list some of these? Can we start making a list somewhere? Because I think reduplication should be a strategy we consider. And then this one next, yes. So,
like, show me like on a piece of paper.
I can do that. All right.
All right. So we've got.
So 1, reduplication.
And then 2, and we may want to check ease, but I'm pretty sure that breaks down to sun hop. I remember being very excited about that.
And it's hop.
Yeah, hop sun.
I'll look up ease.
Because this is a verb initial language.
Yes. Ease is sun, and so a sun hop is a day. We're going to call this verb plus absolutive noun.
Okay. And same for night. That comes from, moon hop.
Okay. So then let's keep going.
Beyond, we have amatiali, which I have no idea what tiali is.
This is what I'm for. I'll look it up.
Ama is face.
And tiali is shade, a verb that means... it's an adjective. It's an adjective.
Shaded face.
Yeah, shaded or black in this case, but I think it means...
Because it's beyond. It's shading your face.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we did some good work.
And so, but that in particular means shaded. So let's do noun plus...
Modifier.
Yeah, modifier. Okay.
And then we expanded that because this then means beyond, and then tan.
Yeah.
I think is... Oh, that was the collective. That shouldn't necessarily... That's the collective. I don't know if that should be a plus or...
Don't worry about that. It's derivation.
Okay. We've got our wins and wheres.
Ignore that.
This one, I think Mina is nose, and so... Do we see... to twitch. So twitch nose.
Or yeah, it's the same thing. We've already got that one.
And this one is twitch eye, I think.
Yeah, this is skip that. To be delicious. Alfalfa plant.
Alfalfa plus
lummi. I'll look it up.
It's just to be delicious, or?
What on earth?
We don't have lummi?
It's a derivation. To taste. Oh no. I think this is one of those situations where we have different schwas in the document.
Oh, shoot.
Yep. Oh gosh, that's terrible. So this only has 2 show up, and then the other one has like 5 show up. Great. But it means to taste. So.
But this one is a derivation, though. I think that alfalfa. It's like to be like or something.
Alfalfa taste.
They like alfalfa.
Yeah, but like, how does that derivation work? Because taste is a verb.
I think it's going to be in the actual derivation table. No, it's not.
Well, it's not in that. Wait. Similative? Does it end up? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it's our similative. Okay.
All right, never mind.
Okay, and then we have Asi and Sali.
All right. Asi should be up here somewhere, right? Ear.
And then Sally, I think, is actually a leaf or something.
Leaf, yeah.
So ear leaf.
Ear leaf. And so that's...
Noun modifier again.
So
leafy ear, I think.
And so let's do... this is noun, and then this is like verb / adjective. We don't have adjectives, but basically. All right.
Okay. Boil, and then what is Xeon?
Rot.
Boil, rot. So it's verb.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What do you think? Are we good to kind of like?
I think so. Like I think we're seeing a lot of variety. In general, I think we're also seeing Should we? So, for instance, like the verb plus absolutive noun equal to noun. Should we be indicating like what these combinations equaled?
Oh. I think most of these were nouns. This is the only
Okay.
one that was a verb.
Is ferment, yeah. Oh, to be delicious was also, but that was a derivation, and we chose not to look at that. Yeah. That's right. Okay, okay. I also want to point out the Chicken War 1582. I want to point out, David, we had some really heavy roots in this language.
We did. I mean, there were maximal. Oh. The heck is source of a river? Why is that one so long?
Again, but look at this one I'm looking at.
I mean, that's fine because it's 2 syllables, but source of a river is 3. Zachifa. Or Zachiba. It's weird.
I feel that that one was the result of something.
I think so too.
Patron word or vote or something. Anyway. That is to say, we do have a lot of choices. If we don't want to use Mehus as like part of the name, then we don't want to use, because if we don't, then we want to do something other than to shoot as being part of the compound.
It would, yeah. I mean, it would basically be Mehus and Somehus.
What if?
Great archer.
Okay, I feel that if you're a very good archer, especially from a distance, that when you're, especially as you're like setting up the bow and everything, you've got to be steady. So like we have twitch as a lot of our compound forms. Why not have something meaning steady or to be steady, hands or eyes or something like that, where it's like that idea of like you can set up and do this.
Let's take a look at one of these number 2 derivations to see how they work, because it could be a sharpshooter would be a steady hand.
Steady hand, yeah, I like that.
And so like, and this would be very simple because that would be the absolutive noun. The hand is steady. So let's first look at the word for hand and see what it is.
I wonder. Okay, hand.
Pada.
Pada. Ooh.
That's right. Okay. And now I don't think we'll have anything for steady, but it essentially, it's going to...
Just in case. No. Okay.
It'll be something that comes in front of pada.
Okay.
Now, can we go to a verb plus absolutive noun compound so we can see what it looks like?
Oh my gosh.
There's only 8. Keep going.
Okay.
There. Okay, so then it will be pada, blank pada. So, because it was a hazy, right? And so it'll be pada.
Yeah, because the same thing goes here. We do get... Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And we don't want anything like tote, because that is that's one of our pluralizers, so that, and a nominalizer. So like we don't want to do anything like that sound. So let's pull up, and something
let's try to get
nice
CV,
and short.
CV or CBC.
Something that we apparently struggled with in this language. Okay. What about...
Oh, I do want to acknowledge that Tethys's twitchless is a really cool idea. I don't think we know how to do that, but it sounds cool.
Oh, yeah.
Twitchless.
Okay, so what do you think about like Li or Lu? We need to check these forms, see if we have them.
What's the no, I'll look it up. So pada is the word for 4.
Yes.
And it's P-A-T-A. All right, pata. I want to see what happens if we just throw A-N in front of it. So it will voice. It will voice after a nasal.
Mm-hmm.
It will voice between vowels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well that's interesting. The S disappears.
S's do weird things in this language. I remember that.
I don't remember us doing the disappearing S thing, but I guess it does.
Yeah, I don't know. Have to find where it happens. Oh, we could trace it in Lexergy.
Tethys, let us know. Yeah, I'll do that. Tethys, let us know what that word is. I mean, we see the link, but you know. Spirant lenition. So aspada becomes ahpada, and then it becomes a geminate, and then the geminate simplifies. I didn't realize that we did that in this language.
We have a ton of K words. We don't have a single KI word. Kibata.
Kibata.
That just sounds like a really badass archer name.
It does.
I'm Kibata. Stay back.
Let's just see what happens. So there's Kibata or there's Kimbata.
That could be a nod to Kim Possible just by the Kim.
My goodness, you're right. So let's throw some options in here. I want to see what happens if we do this. Kibata.
Oh, I like that too. We're gonna have a poll for you, I think.
There's Kibata. We can do Co, right? Do we have, we do have U.
We do. I feel like Co was a prefix that got used somewhere. Well, the KW was.
Can you pull up just the K side of the dictionary? I want to make sure I don't do anything we've already looked at.
Yes, sorry, I was just trying to remember to what some of our prefixes were. The K side of the dictionary. Here.
It's weird. All right. So we had Kali, so we probably don't want Kai.
No, and we have a Kai that gets used everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is why one of the reasons we have so many K entries.
Connie, scroll down. Copy, right, of course, you can copy Co. All right, keep going. Co is twig, you're right. That was, all right. Kyuk. Okay. All right. Delete some stuff here. I want to okay, let's stick with this high vowel.
Okay.
What do you think about the four options: Kimbata, Kibata, Kipata, and Kiebata?
I think those are good options.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's put this to a taste test vote.
And they're all going to be very similar. Are you going to create the poll, or do you want me to do it on here?
Yeah.
And by yeah, you mean it was one of those questions that was 2 options, and you said yeah.
Ask it again.
Do you want to create the poll, or do you want me to do it?
Oh, when I said yeah, that meant yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, okay. Then I will wait for you to do it.
What? I mean, what you were really asking is, will I do it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
What were we watching though the other night? Oh, I think it was the new Wrexham episodes, and like someone like their wife asked them a 2-part question, and their answer was just like yeah, and we both laughed so hard, and I was like, oh my god, David does that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Now, know that all of these they will have different protoforms, and we have worked them all out. But I'm just going to give you the modern forms. Yeah. Welcome to Wrexham. If you're not aware of it, it's a reality show about 2 American celebrities who purchased a soccer team in Wrexham, Wales, and they've been essentially shepherding it, trying to get it back to prominence, as it's in like the 5th tier of English football, well out of the.
Well, if you don't want a spoiler alert, don't read comments right now.
Yeah, and it's and yeah, like also like, you know, it's fun to watch the show, and so the show comes out a year in advance. So yeah, like it can be very easily spoiled by looking things up or people saying stuff. So don't do that. The 2nd season is still going.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the episode yet. They haven't shown the episode of whether or not they do what they need to do to be promoted. And so we're waiting patiently.
Just.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
The stress should be marked on the A in every one of these, David. You didn't put the
stress, yeah,
the acute mark.
There, I'll say them. All right. Okay. So these are pronounced. They're all the 2nd stress, just like Sabala. So kimbada, kibada, kipada, kiabada, and they will all have accent marks.
Yeah, English soccer. Jake loves that. Oh man.
Yeah. I have to say, one of the gripes is now American soccer is really, at least American professional soccer, has really been taken off in recent years. And I think one of the main complaints is just how much the American soccer broadcasts and things like that kowtow to international traditions, which is just something that does not need to be done. We don't need to be calling our soccer fields pitches. We don't need to be calling soccer football. We don't need to put the home team on top, which makes no sense. It's just a whole tangled web of things. Anyway, so Kim Possible wins it, and so I really like that. Kimbada. Put it in there, and I will add it to the dictionary.
And I'll add it on the English side.
And as Tethys points out, indeed, the English came up with the word soccer in the first place. My goodness. I think, by the way, I think that relegation and promotion is a very exciting element of sports. I think it's something that's very cool. It absolutely would never, ever work here in the United States, because there's no way that you can convince the people that own teams that it would be a good idea to maybe sometimes have certain teams drop down to a lower league where nobody will watch them play and they'll get less money. They'll be like, why would we do that? I think that they would rather fold.
so I put it under Archer as a C entry thing because I mean it is technically a word for a very skilled archer.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna put it under sharpshooter. Does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay.
Marksman is also a good one, even though it's a
yeah.
gendered term.
I'll fix that. Don't worry.
I should be looking at Ahezi and copy that.
Okay. I made a double-headed entry.
Marks Bunny.
But then since we still need the English word there, so.
Oh, I would actually make them two separate ones.
Put two? Okay.
Yeah. And I will add Marksman as well. That is Marks Bun.
Oh, that was even better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that.
Do all three.
Oh my gosh, we are on a roll.
Oh wow, we can do the My Little Pony thing here, and make every bunny some bunny.
I think we did that.
Mm.
I don't think we did it on this side of the dictionary, but I think we did it in the. Yep, here, every bunny.
Right on.
And so there we go.
All right. And now we also are going to need to add to make keen a stative verb that means to be steady, to be still.
Okay. And those I should enter as steady adjective on this side, right?
Yes.
Steady. Okay, and you're going to take care of that. Oh, have fun with the verb entry and the reduplication of Engála.
And then,
does that just come out as Keem?
K-I-N?
Oh, K-I-N.
Yeah, I don't think we allow K-I-M.
And so it just comes out as Keen.
Try throwing it in there, see if it's allowed.
Oh, it would come out as Keemy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, we can theoretically do either. Oh my god! But then steady would be Kimmy, like impossible.
That'd be cute. I like it. And I mean, it wouldn't affect the word we created.
Sure wouldn't. Sure wouldn't. All right, Kimmy it is.
So make sure you change the etymology.
Will do.
Okay, so steady is now Kimmy. And that's actually an adjective. I know how to do that. And still is another way of saying that. I'm going to put C entry because we use still in a lot of ways in English.
Yeah.
Steady is much steadier. Okay. David, when you finish this entry, I'm ready to celebrate our work thus far.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely got to do that.
I'm going to, in fact, officially get ready to celebrate our work thus far.
But this should be a person. Like, we don't do it by the first word in it. We do it by so what's the plural of a word that starts with K? That's a person.
I don't know, but we can look at
experiment.
It should be
Roof.
I mean, it should just be an addition of an A in front of it because the S would, because it really comes from AS, and then the S would drop out before it, just like with a P, right?
Fox is ahas. Oh, but that's a h, not a k.
Because ta is father and ata, or ata is fathers. Okay. And so I think the K and the T would operate the same, right?
Yeah. I mean, we have it listed pretty extensively up in the grammar. We just didn't have an example yet, but now we do. All right.
I'm saying I could also.
Akimbata. That's pretty cool. Okay, so then spelling is going to be K-I-M-P-A-T-A-A.
Yeah, and I just double checked, and yeah, the us would become just ah. Yes, I should, because that actually gets reduced. So yeah.
Okay, so I've added that. Have you added Kim, or did you just add that to the English side?
Oh, just to the English side. I thought you were doing the Engála side.
You got it. All right, let's go.
Which is why I even said, hey, have fun with the verb and the reduplication of Engála.
It'll be fine. Kali, Kakali.
Hey, well,
it's easy.
While David is finishing that, another fun thing. Oh my goodness, Jake, those cardamom bones, I don't care if they weren't quite perfect. I mean, they just sounded so delicious, and quite frankly, they looked delicious too. But anyway, Jake ate all of their cardamom bones, and I don't blame them because they looked good.
Does anybody remember if we actually write the extra vowel? I think we do. Sorry, go ahead.
Good question. Cardamom buns. I think I said it a little bit weird 3 times over. But anyway, as David's finishing that, another fun thing to think about, because some of you are talking about like your languages and things you're doing. We are getting close to Lexembourg, and so if you want to participate this year, you may want to start thinking about what you want to do, because, you know, November flies by. And so even if you don't actually come up with entries yet and you wait until every day in December, you know, it's fun to at least have a plan, like I'm going to use X language and whatever. And so I have a wee bit of a plan for Joadi to do Joadi entries for Lexembourg, so I'm excited.
I'm going to be lazy and just do Hyperlyrian glyphs again.
I think you've done some amazing glyph work over the past couple of years, so that needs to be a focus. And so that's exciting. And so yeah. Oh. Miles, that is a lot to take in. A student brought them a roadkill raccoon for them and the biology teacher to dissect for the skull.
Oh, God.
But they didn't really get a chance because apparently too many raccoons are rabid in Ohio.
That is...
Yikes.
A whole series of interesting life choices led to that.
It really was. Woo! Jonathan, I understand. Yeah, it can be difficult to get into it. And so, yeah, you know, you may not, but it's just to think about if you want to. Okay. And in between now and then, you may change your mind. We're ready to celebrate?
Ready to celebrate.
I have our celebration.
Oh, Kopiko. That sounds like a fun celebration.
Look at that one.
Real coffee. Anytime, anywhere.
Look at the flavor.
Cappuccino?
Yeah, I grabbed out of there. I thought we were done with cappuccinos.
And
I had kept it for myself because I just grabbed them.
Well.
And so now I'm back to coffee. David has the cappuccino.
What a day to be me. Cheers, partner.
Well, in Magpie, just because you just did the big translation doesn't mean you can't use the new words you made for Luxembourg. So think about that too.
Copico, there is nothing fino than cappuccino.
I love you.
Love you too.
Oh. Mine has a little sharp point coming off of it. It's kind of painful.
Better.
It's no good.
Better weather that down.
May have a tongue piercing by the time this is done.
Okay.
Should I make a Luxembourg channel in Discord? Because if people are going to share it, so that way it's all together.
Yeah, I think there's one of those in Catch Padgett's Discord.
Okay.
And it's a nice thing because everybody can share them in one spot, doesn't clutter up another channel, and if you don't want to see everybody's posts, you can mute it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, my goodness, it's Mr. Luridian! Hold on. I wrote up my Luxembourg entry 6 months in advance, so I wouldn't have to interrupt the alien biosphere's workflow. Well,
I love how you work, Bib. That's amazing.
My goodness.
Love it.
I suppose that all of us could just do our work ahead of time when we had free time for it so that everything runs more efficiently, huh? Huh? My goodness.
Bibluridian is my aspiration in terms of workflow. Someday I'm going to be as cool as Bib.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, my goal is to just be better than David.
Well done.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Okay. Where to next? We have our 2 archer words.
Yeah.
We do have sniper and gouge as 2 of the abilities.
Yeah, so for those I just threw those down there. What we need is just some word or phrase in Engála that describes those activities.
Because sniper, is that the one where you can attack from behind and you can't miss?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't have to do with range. That has to do with how the other character is facing, I believe.
Hold on a sec. Yeah, when attacking from behind, all negative and neutral dice rolls are instead +1.
And so, like, it's less about being able to shoot any sort of distance, and it's more about being sneaky enough that, like, presumably what this is mimicking is, like, you were sneaky enough to, like, get into range of your opponent without them even knowing.
Well, also just that they're skilled enough with a target that isn't moving because it isn't suspecting anything to be able to hit exactly the spot they need to.
David, if you take these symbols and go whoop, 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 you essentially have the discarded glyph from Haughòf.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, anyway. What were you saying about sniper?
All right, so this is important. It's not necessarily about being sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
It's that the archer is skilled enough with a target that is not moving to be able to hit the exact spot they would like. And so they can bypass, not really bypass armor, but basically they get a plus to it. And the idea is that if the target can't see them, they won't be able to move in time. And so that's the reason. Oh, volley isn't listed on there.
It is not, although we wouldn't need that for this language, would we? No, that is the 5-star.
Yeah.
That's the 5-star.
Uh-huh.
Well, David, why isn't volley listed on there? And I'm going to make a note to enter that into the main document. If you recall, this is now a copy.
Yes. Let's go ahead and let's take a...
Oh my goodness. Come on, pen.
It would only need to be in Engála. It's not ever going to need to be in another language, or at least not for the base or the expansion. So.
We have compounds, like we just created one. That's this verb and absolutive noun, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a word for arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Arrow, hit, or thud, or like some verb. So it would be like thud arrow or hit arrow. Could that be? No, that would be the instance, not the actual sniper.
Yeah. Well, let's ask this question. Do we want to continue with the archer-related vocabulary or skip to a new class?
Good call. Because this seems very specific, and you had said not all of these are going to have translations. Oh.
Biblaridian is a good point. Jessie, you casually wrote an 800-page conlang book. If I had that kind of productivity, I would have finished Alien Biospheres years ago.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Tincture. Heart right back all of them. Oh, that's lovely, Arias.
Dang, I kind of got the short end of the stick there, didn't I?
You're funny.
At least I'm funny.
That's how I describe David to, all my friends. Well, he's funny.
Wow. And so in the world of conlangdom, I am simply the comic relief. I am the Uncle Joey of conlanging.
Cut it out.
There you go.
Oh, man. Oh, I think that's the crown that Julian is wearing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have a pet bird, and by pet bird I mean it's metal. We actually have two. We have two pet metal birds, and the smaller of the two is named Julian, and Julian is wearing that crown.
Yeah.
And so yes. Okay. So yeah, let's. Hey, what is the star rating on the Bard for the rabbit?
Two.
Not that it super matters because there's only one of them, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels nice.
It's good to do.
Okay, so we've got that. Rabbits also have two warriors, and so we're gonna need two words for that. And a rogue. They only have one, so that may be easier to potentially tackle.
And it's something that we can think about. So let me talk about this rogue class. Oh, that's retries.
You sure did. I'm so glad you noticed.
Yeah.
Not as good as oh god, what was my mistake that I made in the podcast episode? Foremouse. I said first and foremouse. That's what I did. And I mentioned it when I caught myself. It was a real shame David wasn't there with me when I was recording it because even I had to know that it was adorable.
And I caught it immediately when she said it.
Mm-hmm. And then I had to like shush him up so he could hear me catch it on the podcast because he was like talking over me. And I was like, shh.
We listened to that on our honeymoon.
We sure did. We know how to use our honeymoon well. Okay, so rogue.
Yeah, so let me talk
because
about
we only
this.
need one rogue, but we need two warriors.
Yeah, let me talk about this. So the terminology rogue came from World of Warcraft because rogues they can stealth and they attack from behind. They're essentially a melee class. In our game, rogues have kind of like two functions. They actually are very good at attacking at close range. especially the higher level rogues. They can stealth. They can do things like ordinarily characters can't move through enemy units. Rogues can, so they can slip right on through. And they build and set traps. And so there are a bunch of different types of traps, and that have different functions. But of course, when you see them on the game, you don't know which type of trap it is, and it's kind of actually on the rogue to remember which trap is theirs and which one they laid where. Anyway, so with that in mind, we have to come up with a word for this type of character. There's just one of them in Engála, and it is a female tier 4 rogue. And so, like, one line of thinking, especially for the rabbits, because the rabbits, they're very low tech by choice. They enjoy living off the land and living for the land. And so when it comes to the more warlike rabbits, the warriors and the rogues and so on, I think of them as, again, more natural, more using the land. I was thinking of somebody like John Rambo.
Well, and I was just thinking, like, their word for trap could actually be a secondary meaning for pit, because they would be more likely to do, like, a pit covered with leaves or something instead of, like, an actual thing that they would have to build. And so, like, either that or some sort of, like, snare or something like that. But we don't have a word for a trap, and so that could be, like, a rogue could be a trapper.
Thanks to you, Arias. Yeah,
That's
Jake
cute.
and Jake, yes, you're right. So trap setter could be one. I really like Jesse's idea because, yes, the covered pit trap could be like a very basic one for them. We don't actually have a the traditional cartoon leaf covering the rope going. We don't have one of those.
But that feels like another one.
It's kind of like, that's kind of like the glue trap, honestly.
I feel like, though, the original trap would have been dig a hole and put some sticks over it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's the original. And then from there, everything else just comes from that word that got extended to refer to that, but, still, but also then to any trap in general.
Yeah. If we can go to Engála.
So then the word for pit trap, if we needed one, would actually just be reduplication. It would be pit.
Yeah, and by the way, one idea, so like, for example, with the way that this class works is there are a finite number of traps. And let's say that, I don't know, with 4 players, let's say that there's like, they've decided this game to go with 5 rogues across the various teams. Whichever one has the most stars gets to choose their first trap, and you just go by star rating until everybody, we originally did 4, I think I'm going to do 5. Just for more variety. And so all rogues have cards that describe what every single trap does. And we could do the thing where we translate every single trap into every single language for each rogue. Mm-hmm. Or it could be like, this trap comes from the rabbits, and so it has a rabbit name. And this one comes from the mice, and so it has a
like,
mouse
this
name.
one could definitely have the rabbit name. But then, like, some of these, that would be a mouse trap.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Yeah, mouse trap.
As with the explosive. Boulder trap, I feel like, could be the rabbits. Setting a boulder up on a stick that gets triggered. Mm-hmm. And then whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Okay, so some people have made suggestions. Miles said maybe pit could be like the augmentative.
Yeah.
And then Magpie suggested maybe danger burrow. So burrow is definitely. And Jake suggests maybe something more agricultural, like ditch, which I kind of like, because like a burrow is a specific kind of home situation, whereas something like if you dig A ditch, we have furrow, I believe, in this language, where you like dig a furrow for a garden. So those kinds of ideas where it's like something
Oh.
you dig that's separate from like a burrow, a home.
Yeah, by the way, I'm sorry, I totally screwed up the reduplication. Right, King gave me. Oops, that's my bad.
David would never screw things up.
I forgot how reduplication worked in this language, clearly. That was my bad.
We have a whole section written on it because I was so confused when it happened. Okay, so yeah, Tethys, ditch, trench, those kinds of things, but like in an agricultural sense, where you would dig it. Oh my God, that's amazing, Miles. Yeah, like seed hole, where it's like a hole you dig for a seed but bigger. I like that. That's just fun. Like we don't really need, that may not be the right word for pit, but I love the idea that they would have a word for it in general.
Let's write down some of these terms. So canny is a term that means to dig a hole or to burrow. Sorry. Hole is wa. It just comes from UA, proto UA. So wa is hole. We must have used that for derivation or somewhere. I don't think that we have anything separate for pit. We don't have a word for seed yet. That's kind of surprising.
Oh, our agricultural rabbits here.
Yeah, and we don't have like separate words for like ditch.
And so, yeah.
Oh my God.
No need to.
Can't repeat that.
Just,
but
yeah, Jake, you win the prize this episode.
Oh,
Magpie. I totally screwed up the reduplication. It's basically a summary of Engála. Well done.
It is, yes. Let's draw attention to that one. Now, moving on. Moving on.
Oh, Jake, do you mean gyals or guiles? Because it could be either. Because of English.
That's amazing. And that would be a great little combo there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
we were going somewhere with this.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw this out here.
Oh, we could have a big hole, could be a pit.
Yeah.
So
that'd be sowa. Or would it be sohwa? Hold on a sec.
That's a good question.
What's the protoform for that?
I believe it's S schwa UX, if I remember it correctly. And I'm going to go find it.
That would be sohwa.
S schwa UX is indeed.
So sohwa. Sohwa is interesting. Big hole. A dug hole, as opposed to just a hole that exists, could be a thing. And that would be wakani?
It would be the third person singular perfective for a patientive, because this would be a thing that is dug, right?
Oh, I was doing a compound.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Carnivorous plants. Oh man, that's great.
Oh, the two genders, gals and guiles.
Oh man. Okay, so but yeah, I like the potential for a compound there.
So that would be wakani, I believe.
It wouldn't be turned into a g.
I'm sorry, no. Oh yeah, it would. Wagani. Which sounds a little bit like, wageni, which means strangers in Swahili. So yeah, wagani. And then there's also sohwa.
If onion were to be the word for a trap in a language, it would be in Engála. Because we actually have a whole fable written about that, if you recall. about how a dad and daughter rabbit are out in the field, and he has to teach his daughter not to eat the onion plants because they may look good from the top, but they're actually poisonous.
Oh my God, an onion hole.
And so that could be the word, and it would be based on David's name.
It would be Wadevidi.
Which is hilarious.
Oh my God, it's a little long.
And yet.
Wadevidi.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, also an onion rabbit would be Ime Devidi.
Oh, for not what it seems.
Yeah, or a wicked rabbit.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, so we have to use those forms, even if that isn't what we land on for this, we have to use those forms.
Yeah, it's a little long and a little on the nose because, of course, it's great for our language, but for the actual game, they would notice that Devidi is in there.
Is there a problem with that?
No.
And so, yeah, that may not be what we use for this, but we will need to enter those as something like
Yeah, gosh, that would be really, really great. Like Tevidi as something that was like duplicitous and like use that in compounds. The shame is that the root, which is disyllabic, cannot end with that consonant, and so you end up having to pick up the extra vowel, and so it becomes trisyllabic, and then it's just become. But it's like this could be a word that just means taboo.
I like it.
No.
Because we had a lot of discussions about how they're actually really bad for rabbits. I think Logan and Biblaridian were great sources, and as usual, about our animals.
Oh, we do have a word for without tune. Twitch was cha, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which would be in the C's.
Yeah.
And without twitching would be tunja. Except it would be tunja, right? Interesting idea.
Perhaps.
Anyway. I was looking at prepositions because I was thinking that this, like essentially the equivalent of taboo, could be a prepositional phrase with onion. So I want to see what prepositions we have.
Arias is, talking about Tevidi being something tempting but dangerous, and then follows that up with obviously casting no doubts on your marriage with this meaning of David's name. Oh, man.
Two towards out of. Oh, Linus, it's so long. Linus Tevidi. All right. So, back to this.
Oh my God. We have used reduplication. We could just have Wawa.
Goodness.
For a bit.
Out.
David loves my suggestions when it comes to words like. It would come out as woe, potentially. Look at that, David. Isn't wa the source of whole? Reduplicated, if we follow sound changes, it would potentially change.
I don't know about that.
Oh, is it too much?
That
It'd be more like this. Well, no, it'd be way, not wa. Is it way or wa?
No, it's UA.
Oh, I thought it was schwa.
No.
So never mind. Let me see if that changes the scope of life.
It's essentially just be wow. So I do have something here.
My house is ready for the wawa weewa.
That's wrong. That should be Sava. Not Sava. So Sava means to be covered.
Mm.
So wasava,
Ooh, a covered hole.
yeah, it would be a covered hole.
Oh, I like that.
How does the stress work for that? It's number 3. Noun.
Oops, wrong document.
Noun plus a adjectival modifier.
We were still somewhere up here. Well, actually, let's just go back to the A's, and I know we were past that. That's nose twitching. And then we skipped all these. This was...
That's not a noun, though.
Wait, that was different. This is ear, a leafy ear, essentially.
That was a noun modifier, and our noun modifier was number 4. So whatever it was, we passed it. I should have written down the words.
Should have written it.
I should have. Very sorry.
I mean, this is beyond shaded face. I think that's
Shaded
where you
face.
got it from.
Okay, and it's ajai. I mean, it's very condensed, right? But essentially, that's the thing that's getting the stress.
Yeah.
And so it would be, it'd be wasava. Let me punch that in and see what that would. Okay, that's putting the wrong stress. How do we do this? Do we put a hyphen?
No, that was later. It's not written into the Engála rules, like in the actual sound change, because we didn't really get into that until I think Wokuthiju is where it started getting coded differently if it was an affix.
So just wasava.
Oh, I like that.
All right, I like that too. Here, well, so let's do that as a covered pit trap, but then just extend it to mean any type of trap.
So I'm going to just put it on the English side as trap, and then I'm going to put it in the document as a pit trap.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 2 definitions.
Wasaba, right?
Sava with a V, sorry.
Wasaba. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Oh, bye, Miles. Yeah, next week we get into Tapachla, so Bubba better be ready. I was thinking something else, and then I forgot what I was thinking. And I felt like, well, it's all good.
Okay, so I've got that in there. So it's cool that we have that. I don't think it necessarily gives us our term for the rogue, but, you know.
Okay, but you had said...
Call them a digger.
That's what I was just thinking, because it's like, if their concept of what a trap was, then if you're the person setting the trap, you would be a digger.
I didn't put the right...
We need the so.
Yeah.
Which, I know it's this.
Yeah,
do you want to change it to hyphens, or?
I think we do plus and then a hyphen, right? Like that. Yeah.
so much good pho here, Jake. So much.
And to do digger.
That is to dig a hole. I think that's intransitive.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And so we would have to do the strategy that's listed here.
Agony.
Third person singular imperfective.
So go up to the green. Which is the reduplicated form. Oh, wait. Can you tell me what the protoform of canny is again? I'm sorry, go to canny.
And I think it's K-A-N-I.
Oh. So it's Kengani. Kengani.
Oh my god, that's fun.
Kengani is essentially, yeah, somebody who digs. Like it?
I kind of do.
All right, and so far we have...
we'll need to do some non-K words.
We have Kimbata, we have Mehus, and Kengani. I like it.
We also have the Sisibe.
Sisibe. No, I like it. I like it. Yeah, Kengani. Write it down. And their weapon can be a shovel.
Okay. How Kingani, like this?
No, extra G.
But it changes this because it's considered at that point inside, right? Like it gets pulled.
Yeah.
Because this is considered a coda.
Yep.
Okay. Kingani. Woo! Okay, I'm going to go ahead and capitalize these. These are names at this point. And cool.
Though incidentally, all of these are going to need, actual names.
Yeah, but listen. So Sisibe or Sisibe.
No, Sisibe.
Right, because we only mark the stress if it's not on initial.
Yes.
Sisibe, Merus, Kimbada,
And Kengani.
Kingani.
I like that.
Oh, that is so exciting. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. I'm so happy with this.
Yeah.
And I hope you are too, because this is really
No, I'm liking it.
your game coming.
Let's. So we're almost at the end of our time here. Let's have a quick discussion. Like, what kind of polls should we do? Are we doing a rabbit poll? Or
If how brave are you feeling in terms of open suggestions kind of polls?
we can do that. What are you thinking?
Because to kind of wrap this up, we do need 2 warrior words. And so to think about potential sources, like I don't know that this would even be right, because we need to figure out potential sources.
The rabbits have the tier 1 and tier 3, so it could be little club, big club, or little stick, big stick.
I swear we did though. No, we have sword.
We have stick.
We did have staff.
We had staff, but did we have stick?
We should. I know we had twig.
Yeah, len.
Len.
And so it could be, solen and what's the diminutive?
Oh, we have 2. It's either flea or I think this one is
Solen and
paw.
pollen, or Solen and Lindsay.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, and the Lindsay would be the diminutive. It just so happens that the tier 1 is female.
That's kind of amazing. That's kind of really screwy, delightful.
I wonder what would happen if you reduplicated it. Len.
I think you would get a D in between Lind. Like I think we had that fortification.
Leaned. There is a D, lean. But it's, oh wait. No, that must have been schwa.
Let me
Or
double
an A.
check. If there were interruptions in the stream, sorry, we have not changed anything on our end. It's an A.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, weirdness on YouTube, I guess. Well, in that case, since we have some
Jake
ideas.
says that there have been some interruptions.
Yeah,
I
that's.
wonder
don't
if it's
know.
because my computer went to sleep.
It shouldn't be because mine is still running. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just
It
thinking
may be.
because I was the one that hit the button.
It may be.
So,
It's David's fault.
Lindsay, Lend. That's an idea. I think that I'm kind of a big fan of Lindsay. So, but maybe what I'll do is I'll come up with some ideas that I will run by you for the bigger one, and maybe that can be the poll.
I like that.
All right.
Perfect. All right. So I know why, David. Why?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. It'd be on point, and we would wrap up at least the portion where we came up with those names needed on the big cards things. When we come back next week, it is Tapahla week. I know a lot of you are excited. Hopefully we can hit the ground running, so we won't need to describe the vocabulary sheet.
Yes.
We're going to go in. And remember that the very first thing we're going to want to do is think about what is the name of the kingdom, the possum.
Yes, the Possum Kingdom.
It's a song.
It is. Look it up. It's incredible. Possum Kingdom is the name of a lake. A real lake in Texas is called Possum Kingdom. And there is an entire band that based all of their songs on vampires. And they actually wrote a song called Possum Kingdom about vampires that got radio play in the 90s.
There you go.
That alternates between 7/4 and 4/4. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So obviously our word needs to be the root closest to vampire as we can get for Possum Kingdom. Anyway, that's where we're going to start and hit the ground running next week. And so we look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, stay grammar.
How's jewelry, everybody?
You've got the thing, babe.
Oh, right, yeah. Here it comes.
Now, bye.